like to call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow your heads for a moment of silence. Thank you. Council, do we have any items that need to be added, deleted, or changed on the agenda? Anything from staff? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Do I have any questions on the consent agenda and a motion to approve it?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the November 17th regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Katie, do we have anyone signed up for the public comment period?
Nobody signed.
Okay. This time I'd like to get Steve Allred to come forward to recognize his retirement from the fire department. Thank you for being here, Steve. Whereas Steve Allred was initially hired to work for the Pinecroft-Sedgefield Fire Department in June 1988, and whereas he became fire chief in 2012 and has diligently worked in that position until his retirement, and whereas Steve Allred has served as the vice president and the president of the Guilford County Fire and Rescue Association, and whereas he was in charge of the fire prevention program, which provided valuable services and education to our children and the citizens of the town of Jamestown. And whereas Steve Allred was a member of the North Carolina State Firefighters Association and was named Piedmont Region Officer of the Year in 2014. And whereas his hard work and leadership helped to lower the department ISO rating from a 5 to a 2 in the town of Jamestown. And whereas he purchased 5 new fire trucks during his years as fire chief, was instrumental in the development of the shift commander position, and increased the number of staff at the fire department in order to promote the safety of our citizens. And whereas he has earned the admiration and high regard of those with whom he has come into contact and the affection of his fellow public servants. And whereas his performance of the duties and responsibilities of fire chief have been characterized by excellent and constructive contributions to our entire community. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Lynn Montgomery, Mayor of the town of Jamestown, and the town council do hereby extend our deep appreciation to Steve Allred for his distinguished service and our best wishes for his continued success in all of his endeavors. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate your
I'd like to say for the record, he personally was responsible for putting out fires 3 times when my wife set our grill on fire. I think that's important. Again, I thank you. Good luck to you.
Thanks. Kenny, would you discuss the consideration of the creation for the AARP Communities Committee?
Thank you, Council. To move forward with the AARP, we need to establish a group of leaders to carry it through the planning phases. I think there's like 2 different phases we have to go through. It's going to be like probably at least a 1 to 5 year commitment. And they recommend a good group of diverse people of all ages, so forth. They would like to have somebody on a political board, whatever, to help pull this thing through. So what we'll do is just advertise, and then your December meeting, you'll select the applicants.
Okay.
I just wondered, could we get the written description of like the scope of what the committee will be, and maybe us get a copy in case
That'd be
someone's
great, yeah.
interested? Like we did with the land steering committee, had a description that if someone asked us, we could
Fine.
hand to them.
I'll have it
and
with the
then-
application.
Yeah, then direct them to
Okay.
the town hall for application.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew, would you update us on the
Do
Johnson
you
Farm rezoning?
need to vote on that?
Do you guys want to create the committee
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
this time?
Do I have a motion to create the committee?
Motion. Go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Sorry about that. Now, Matthew.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a quick update on the status of the rezoning of the Johnson property. As you probably know, the Planning Board has met 6 times since August the 10th and discussed the proposed rezoning. Been a lot of dialogue during those meetings. We ended up having Jason Epley from Benchmark, our consultant, help with some of that meeting facilitation, which has been fantastic. The applicant and the attorney have been present for those meetings. At the November the 9th meeting, the applicant's attorney presented an updated planning document which addressed a number of the items on the board's list of concerns, and I did include an email in your packet from Vaughn Hansen with Benchmark, just giving you an update from them and their take on it. Following a little bit of a lengthy discussion on Monday night, the board voted to continue the deliberation on the information presented and have agreed to meet this coming Monday, the 23rd, in this room at 6 p.m. We will stream it. The staff are anticipating that the board will most likely vote and send it to council at that point. I would anticipate that you would see it on your December the 15th agenda as a set the public hearing date for consideration in January. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions at this time? No? Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you very much.
Judy, do you have budget amendment 11 to present?
So I think it was at the last meeting that you briefly talked about hiring someone to look after the sound and camera system during town council meetings as well as planning board meetings. So we did find someone as a prospective person to do that, and this budget amendment would be to increase the budget both in council, the planning department, and the department for council. And I've just, since we really don't know, I just based this on 5 months, 1 council meeting per month and 2 planning board meetings, and that may not, continue to be that many. $2,600 was what I put in for a budget amendment.
Any questions?
Do you have any questions?
Was that $500 per meeting? Is that what the person's charging?
We estimated $200 per meeting, and we kind of guaranteed a minimum of 2 hours at $50 per hour the meeting, and then, $50 additional dollars per hour after the 2 hours.
Okay.
It depends on how long the meetings go and kind of thing.
Do we need a vote on this?
Yes.
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Thanks, Judy.
Okay, Kenny, the town council retreat.
Yes, that time of year again, and thank goodness, 2020 is getting ready to end.
Yes.
But I'm sort of keep it in your focus that, usually we have 2 different, we have a retreat that we normally do in January, about mid-January, and then we have the budget work session. So I'd like for you to start looking at your calendars to see if we can't plan a date for your retreat. And of course, it all depends on COVID. We'll just have to work through it. And so I was looking at maybe the 22nd, which would be, we could have during the day, which is a Friday, or Saturday, either one. So,
That's January 22nd
yes, ma'am.
or 23rd?
That's on Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
Or we could do the 23rd on Saturday.
Either one's fine for me.
22nd.
22nd
rather
would be
have.
better for me.
2nd or 7th?
22nd. It was the 22nd, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, good with everyone?
Would you do it at the golf, at the clubhouse?
Yes.
Be-
I think it's a better
Yeah.
setting and, seems like it's always worked out there well, so.
Need a vote on this?
We
Yes.
do,
Yeah.
and do we need a time?
A time, date, and place.
We'll start at 9 o'clock. I think that's what we did the last time.
Okay, 9 o'clock on the 22nd at the golf
Golf
course.
course.
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Okay, and Kenny, do you have the high school representative appointment?
Yes, this was submitted to us from Dr. Lonnie Smith of Ragsdale High School. He has submitted the name of a student representative for us, and it's Mark Scott. So you may, do you know him
Yes.
personally? Okay. Seems like an outstanding individual from what I read.
Mark is
so-
the one that did the Eagle project and put the distance.
Yes.
So he doesn't go by when?
Win.
Or does he
His
go
name
by
is Mark
when?
Winfield, but he goes by Win.
Yeah, okay. I was,
He also presented here a few months back.
yeah.
He did.
I think that's great. We've been without one for a year or two.
Been a while.
Okay.
Motion to approve the appointment of Win Scott to serve as the high school representative.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Great.
Thank you, and we'll look forward to seeing Win at our next
Our
meeting.
next meeting, wonderful.
Perfect. Okay, and now, Kenny, the consideration of approval for the engineering tech job description.
Yes, ma'am. This was actually in the budget, and council approved a 6-month salary beginning in January. And we actually included it in the pay classification plan. And what we're doing now is just come up with a job description and hopefully get it advertised and get somebody on board quick, so.
Well, I was looking up here first, I guess, you know me, I proofread everything, it's from old clerk days, but it says to provides, I guess it should be provide miscellaneous, and I guess that services should be inserted there to the citizens.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense there?
Okay, I'll make that change.
And then, as I recall, in our workshop, this was actually budgeted in the planning department for additional planning staff for half a fiscal year, or the way I remember it. And they would mainly be helping in the planning department and then assist public services some. So I was a
Have it either
bit
way.
surprised that it was,
No, you can it's an
Put this
engineering
way.
tech position, and I thought well, it's probably logical to put it under Paul since he's the town engineer and they share back and forth. So, but it makes no difference.
well,
really.
would you have to change the way it was budgeted
No,
or split it between?
Well, the budget is in the planning department.
Yeah, so that's
so we
what,
could change it back to planning or still
I
call
was
it
fine with it
engineering.
the way it was before. I mean, unless there's some reason that we need to flip-flop it,
what do you mean the way it was before?
meaning that it was just tied under planning and the way we'd originally.
Yeah.
The way it's in the budget.
That's the way it was in the budget.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that was fine.
The salary was to come out of the budget, I mean, out of the planning budget.
We'll still call it engineering tech, but just put it under planning.
So can we change that job description then
Yes,
to where it would be that under the supervision of the planning department or director?
planning director.
And then with those typo changes?
Yep.
I mean, that's the way I understood it when we did our planning in the budget.
Agreed.
I would just want to make sure that internally that makes the most sense. There could have been a reason, I don't know if there's a supervisory reason or something to do that. I would leave it up to staff to make that decision, but I understand if it has to be a certain way
Yeah,
based on funding.
yeah.
I
I was just
couldn't
thinking
hear
of
the
it in terms of-
conversation on the end of the table. What did we just do?
We haven't done anything yet.
No, I mean, it seemed like it was changed from engineering to planning or from
So,
public
yeah,
services to-
originally in the budget, when we did our budget,
remember that.
it was, the half a year was put in the planning department. And the way it was described that I recall is that it would primarily be in the planning department, and then it would assist public services as needed.
Since it was part
So
of the
it
process.
seemed to me that the majority of the work would be in the planning department, and therefore should be supervised by the planning director.
Okay.
But if there has been a change for some reason and how you anticipate that workload, then I would think for matters of the budget, we would have to do an amendment and change it from the planning department to the public services department. for your salary.
That would be correct for the budget.
So my question, and certainly whatever the council desires, would be to have that to be the planning director and then the typos corrected that I saw.
That is the way we originally discussed it, so.
Okay, no problem.
Any additional information you'd like to have?
If that's going to be the case, then under knowledge and skills and abilities, should we maybe hype up some of the one that says some knowledge of planning and code enforcement and change that to a lot? Or some better language that instead of just being some to
Yeah.
increase?
Well, where did this job description come from?
PTRC.
I was going to say, usually we get them from council of government. Yeah, I wondered about the education and experience, if, it just seems to me, I was thinking it was going to be one type of job, and it looks like the description has gone another way.
Well, I mean, y'all can, if you want to, we can change it to a planner. Is there a planning tech, Matt?
I'd have to talk to Sharon about the pay scale to see what we have in the thing, but the original plan was always to have it in the planning department. I'm not sure where this came from, but this is sort of news to me.
Is the education such that someone that they would get from a technical school or community college?
I've taken a look at it, and I would probably rewrite the entire thing, just to be honest.
Yeah, I saw what Lawrence saw, I had marked that about changing that to, yeah, a different, instead of some knowledge. It should-
I agree with Lawrence. It should
Shouldn't we
be,
have some sort of credentials as well? I mean, don't you have like some
yes, sir.
capitalized letters or word number?
You need to
Alphabet
capitalize
beside
that.
your?
Yes, sir. We can look at
Well-
that, for sure.
It just seems like there was two different ideas here, so I would suggest that we continue this and maybe ask for Council of Government to give us a job description for a level one planner or whatever they would have the classifications as.
And maybe tie some of this in with that, too?
Yes.
So that you've got somebody that
Oh.
can go between the two
Is
departments.
Paul here?
Yeah, he's
Still here?
back.
Paul, if we were to get an assistant, which we're looking at mainly more for planning, but can you use someone to help with you with plans and inspections and,
Absolutely. I mean, the code enforcement, storm drainage, they're
storm drains,
They
yes.
fall, it's such a, like halfway between engineering and planning anymore.
Okay,
It would help a lot with my work.
okay.
Can I ask just maybe something that, we know what's fixing to happen or potentially is going to happen. Matt has an agency that helps him. He just has himself. So which one is going to have the most work when and if this development starts up? I mean, again, he has an organization helping him, and you're not going to have anybody. So who's going to be doing the most work? To do?
I'll be involved in the review. We will have somebody in public services work as an inspector on the construction side. I'll be mostly involved on the front end of the documents, getting the plans approved. I'd say the code enforcement side and probably bigger once that project gets started. And, well, obviously inspections of the accounts, the accounts staff, and public services for inspection.
So in layman's terms, who's going to be doing the more work?
I don't know how you'd answer that.
Yeah, I feel like this is something
They're so intertwined.
that's, maybe, I kind of echo what Martha was saying, maybe if we could continue this and they could look at it,
Revisit it.
Pull the two
because I don't want us
departments.
to make a decision that's going to be something that is not going to be as useful to staff.
Right, you want it to be useful to staff and yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
Thank you.
So is that all right? Do you need a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're going to make a motion to continue the approval of the job description until we get a new job description.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Kenny, do you have anything on the manager's report to add?
No, ma'am, it's basically what I had in the package, what I've sent out Friday, so it's not changed a whole lot right now, other than the COVID, the governor switching it back to the 10 or less inside, and they left it 50, I think, outside, so.
On the Oakdale Mill, since that November 2nd meeting, have you had any updates from the Preservation North Carolina?
I have not.
No?
I did finish up the
Inventory?
inventory, yeah.
Awesome.
And there is one, it's going to probably have to come down. I need to talk to Matt about it. So.
Uh-huh, okay, great.
Is there a roof collapse out there? Okay, thought I saw it.
Would it be out of line to ask to see a copy of that inventory?
Yeah, I'll soon as
Sometime.
get it typed up. It's rough draft right
Yeah.
now, but I
Yeah.
went out and got square footages and everything on the.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah, I'd love to see that, I'd appreciate it.
okay.
This may be Beth, but my question's about Lee Street. I had a call from one of the neighbors this week asking where we stood on the Lee Street.
I think where we stand is Matthew and I are talking about getting this on the schedule with
Okay.
D.H. Griffin for demolition. Michael Young has asked for more time, but he's not done any of the things that we've asked him to do or presented any of the timelines that we've asked him to hit. So we're assuming that that's dead.
Have we filed for the order of demolition?
Yes, ma'am, we have
Okay.
that.
All right. So it's just a matter of getting D.H. Griffin on the schedule?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, we've got neighbors asking about that, so if we could take care of it, that'd be great. Any other questions, council? Do we have any committee reports?
Well, I'd let planning board, I know, we've got a
Well, the planning board met, I think, Matt kind of summarized that, and there is going to be another meeting November 23rd at 6 PM where a vote is expected. I know some of you watched at home. It was an interesting meeting, lots of passion there, but the developer and developer's attorney brought what they said was going to be their final plan, which was presented to planning board members and council the Friday prior to the Monday meeting, and did have a lower density, as planning board members had asked for, but it also became apparent at the meeting and through the plans that the houses are going to, the plan is for lots of townhomes, which we knew, and that the small lots and smaller houses weren't just for the starter houses or for, the age-in-place housing, but that would be throughout the entire area. So the developer did want to vote that night, but the planning board didn't feel ready to vote that night. They wanted more time to think about it, and so that will be most likely November 23rd.
We did have a TAC Teams meeting this morning at 10 o'clock, and the Jamestown Bypass, they said is running a little behind, but it's still on track for completion of December 2021. The Lydia Sidewalk Project, Paul, they have changed the completion date to February 2021. I don't know if Paul heard that, but they did say, just on a state level for DOT, the fuel tax revenue is going up as some people are out moving about. I don't know if that will decrease, but it has gone up and says made the cash balances for DOT much better, improving. DOT did sell bonds, which gained revenue to support the ongoing projects. They did not say if they are going to revive the projects that were in design, but at least ongoing projects, there's funding to continue that. The High Point Transit System, they had suspended the Route 25, which is the Jamestown to GTCC route, but that has been back online. They suspended because of shortage of staff, because they had some COVID cases, but that is back running. And the Jamestown dues for MPO for fiscal year 21-2020 is $3,382. And then there's no meeting in December.
Thank you.
Nothing for Parks and Rec.
Thank you. Okay. I don't have anything to report either. Katie, do we have anyone signed up for public comment period?
Nobody signed up.
Any other business you'd like to discuss?
Believe it or not, I don't.
Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
You need to state it, please.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Let's see, move to go into closed session per General Statutes 143-318.11, A6, to discuss the performance evaluation of the town manager.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
I guess we would like for Beth, are we going to leave or?
I think we'll go into the,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
and Beth, if you'll come with us. Thank you.